Welcome back to Wittenberg Academy's Latin 2 course. We're ready today for lesson 37. That begins on page 64, dealing with the order of words in a Latin sentence. This again is something you're going to gain more by feel as you continue studying Latin and simply translate more and more, but this is a nice discussion here, so let's read through this. Owing to the larger use of inflections, Latin has greater freedom than English in the arrangement of words. However, there is a normal order of words which the student should early observe insofar as is possible. The general rule: the subject with its modifiers occupies the first part of the sentence, and the predicate with its modifiers occupies the last part. So in English, we have a subject-verb-object order. I see the dog. In Latin, they tend to have a subject-object-verb order. I, the dog, see. But of course, it's very flexible, but that, again, is the general rule. And now some special rules. The modifiers of the subject, if substantive, usually follow it. If adjective, they may either precede or follow. A blue dog in Latin is often going to be the dog blue. B. The modifiers of the predicate stand in order of their importance, commonly as follows: expressions of time, place, cause or means, indirect object, direct object, adverb, and verb. So remember, the indirect object and the direct object, we think of them as modifying the verb. They limit the verb in some way. And so they go in the second part of the sentence. Pronominal adjectives, especially demonstratives and interrogatives, generally precede their nouns. Possessive adjectives regularly follow. Again, we're not going to get tied down. I'm not going to ask you to memorize these things. They're not going to make a lot of sense now. We haven't learned demonstrative pronouns. We've learned a few interrogative pronouns, but we've only learned them as vocabulary words. So we're not going to get bogged down in this chapter. D, the negative comes next before the word which it affects. If especially emphatic, it may stand first in the sentence. So again, if there's a negative, a known, or a nona, it's going to come right before the word that it modifies. The verb sum may stand anywhere in the sentence. For the particle enim, autem, vero, etc., we'll get to that when we get to that. For the prepositions, again, we'll get to that when we get to that. So, on page 65, let's just do some translations, some more translation work in this chapter. Sentence 1, Julia literas ad matrum ex itinera mittit. Where's the verb? At the end. Mittit. He, she, or it sends. It's present tense. Who sends? Julia. She's the only nominative in the sentence. Julia sends. What does she send? Literas. It's the only thing in the accusative, so it has to be the direct object. Julia sends letters to her mother, ad matrum, ex itinera, from the road, from her journey. Nona carmina jucunda magna poeta amatis. Nona carmina jucunda magna poeta amatis. What's the verb? Amatis, second person plural, present tense. Y'all love. So nona on the front, it's a question. Do you all love? Do you all love what? Carmina jucunda. Right? Do you all love pleasant songs of the great poet? Magni poetae is genitive singular. Remember, even though poeta is feminine in form, looks feminine, it's masculine because it refers to a profession. Do you love the joyous songs of the great poet? Sentence 3. Templum altum in umbris nemeris fuerat. Templum altum in umbris nemeris fuerat. What's the verb? Fuerat. That is the pluperfect, or excuse me, the perfect of sum. So the temple was deep in the shadows of the forest. So autumn there is really acting more as an adverb. I mean, I don't think that means the deep temple, right? It's the temple was deep in the shadows, in umbris, and then nimerus, of the forest. Sentence 4. Miles animum ad vulnera in proeliis parvaverit. Miles animum ad vulnera in proeliis parvaverit. Where's the verb? Parvaverit. It's pluperfect. He, she, or it had prepared. Who had prepared? Miles, the soldier. The soldier had prepared animum. Had prepared his heart, his mind, his soul. He had prepared his mind ad vulnera in proeliis. He had prepared his mind, in English we'd say against or for wounds in the battle. He had prepared his mind for wounds in the battle. Sentence 5. Homo animum et corpus habet. The verb is habet. He, she, or it has. Third person singular, present tense. Who has? Homo, man. Man has, what does he have? Need accusatives, animum et corpus, soul and body, or mind and body here. Animum, the animus, the masculine, usually refers to mind. Anima, the feminine, usually refers to soul. Quid Carolus in capita habet? Habet vulnus. Quid Carolus in capita habet. Verb is habet, he, she, or it has. Nominative is Carolus, Charles. Charles has. Quid. What does Charles have in capita, on his head? Habet vulnus. He has a wound. So again, vulnus, you might think, oh, that's masculine nominative singular. But you have to remember that vulnus is neuter. So the accusative is the same as the nominative. So you have to remember that vulnus is third declension, neuter, not second declension, masculine. And you just have to simply learn that when you learn the vocabulary word vulnus. So on the back of the card it should say vulnus, comma, the front of the card should say vulnus, and the back should say wound, and then it should have the genitive, vulnerus, and the gender, neuter, so that you can learn that all together. Right, that does it for lesson 37.